I was just going to say there as well that if you do see Mary on Tinder anymore, it's a fake account and please report it.
It's fine. I mean, honestly, I've had a wild ride since I got back to work. I had to send around an email.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
What happens on the honeymoon stays on the honeymoon. And I had to send an
Are
email
you blushing?
when I'm work. I am a little bit.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel mean, the need for speed.
Roads? When we're going, we don't need roads. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I'm Spartacus!
I'm Batman.
I am the Father.
What's your thoughts on the new Thor, the Love and Thunder, from what you've seen so far?
Yeah,
I saw the trailer for it in the big screen yesterday, right after I saw the trailer for the next Mission Impossible film, which I was thinking, that's a perfect way to go in and see Top Gun Maverick by watching the Mission Impossible trailer right before it. But yeah, I'm fairly excited about it. I think it'll be pretty good. It looks... Trailers with Marvel films, they don't give anything away at all, but it does look fairly comedic in the same sort of vein as Ragnarok, which was on my list as a top sequel, because that totally changed the way that people looked at Thor and sort of appreciated the Thor character, whereas before he was almost like the Channing Tatum of the Avengers, he's sort of a meathead with the Shakespearean overtones to him and all this. But yeah, I'm interested in seeing it. I'm definitely going to go and see it. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah,
I must admit, I've not watched any of Miss Marvel. I've not watched any of Kenobi, and I feel like I've maybe hit a wee sort of wall with these kind of things. But I think I will go and see the Thor movie because it looks really good. I'm going to try and do a weird double bill with Elvis and the Black Phone next, which sounds like it could be a film by itself. Elvis and the Black Phone. Elvis and the Black Phone. I'm going to try and see that, and we can maybe catch up about that as well.
Black Phone looks good.
Yeah, there's a wee Ethan Hunt assance going on. Is it not Ethan Hunt? It's Ethan Hawke.
Can you imagine Ethan Hunt in The Purge? Ethan Hawke is interesting because he's been doing these Blumhouse style horror films for a good while now, about 10 years.
Yeah.
Sinister,
again, I feel like he's sort of almost like not disappeared, but I feel like you've not heard, and all of a sudden he's in Moon Knight and he's now in this, and there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I'm just like, where have you been? And the thing is, he's been around. He obviously has.
Yeah,
it's just sort of been quieter. Yeah.
For garden sequels, this might take. I know you're hosting me, so I don't want to steal your thunder or Love and Thunder here. But speaking of sequels, that could transition nicely into the news of the new Joker sequel.
Yeah.
Do you think that's serious?
No,
I don't know. Don't think. Is the sequel serious? I know that they're going to make another film, but do you think that somebody is having a joke with us?
I think there's some mischief making going on.
Yeah.
Do I mean, does part of me want Joker to be a musical with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn? You bet your ass that I do. However, I mean, people were kind of talking about it on Twitter, and they were saying, "Oh well, how many more Martin Scorsese films can you rip off?" All that sort of thing. I get where they're coming from with the first one, but I think that maybe to do something so wildly different would be part of the joke in itself. But I feel like Joker was so good, let's not tamper with what was working.
It's a tough one. I don't know where they can go with it, and if they're going to just go really off the rails into a musical, don't be wrong. It's like Warner Brothers are still going to greenlight that idea, and if they think is this marketable, this make money, it doesn't matter how much the first one made. It's fair enough saying the first one made $1 billion, give us more of that. Todd
Phillips.
Oh yeah, Todd Phillips.
If he comes in and says,
when you said Josh, then I was like, who?
But he came out, Todd Phillips. I know you're looking for this other ultra realistic idea of the Joker. Mm-hmm. How about musical? More about going, yeah, why not? Make it work. Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned the kind of, I know I'm diverting a little for the sequel talk here with the Martin Scorsese rip-off thing. Mm-hmm. See, in terms of the comics though, especially the Elseworld DC comics, that's the kind of things they used to do. They would take something that was very popular and already existed and shoehorn an existing DC character into it. And it was that familiarity that really worked. And TV shows do it quite a lot as well. Like things like Supernatural and Smallville, these very formulaic shows will sometimes rip off an idea or emulate a very popular story. Like there's an episode of Smallville, which is basically, funnily enough, The Hangover. They all wake up with no memory, and it plays out very similar. And it's very, very common for TV shows and comics to do that. So when the Joker came along and everybody said he just ripped off Martin Scorsese's list, yeah, but that's the point. It's not like he's hid it. It's clearly Taxi Driver. It's clearly a kind of comedy. That's the point.
Yeah, and the thing is, the setting of the film obviously is the early 70s, whatever. I think, I mean, if we're going to get really technical about it, I remember being told in my comparative literature course that there's only 7 stories that you can ever tell. It's how you tell them. So I imagine there's probably a lot of repetition throughout Bollywood. I mean, to be honest with you, we're talking about Top Gun, which is obviously, it came from an article, Mission Impossible, which was a TV show, Jump Street, which was a TV show. There's loads of stuff that's just, repeated content. They're just sort of repackaging it slightly. So I think that to snark on the first one because you think it's a rip-off is, well, I would argue you're missing the point, but I realise that it came on.
Personally, people kind of miss the point idea because it's clearly it's almost like a pseudo remake, just retold with a DC lens, and people come and say, well, that's very strange. As far as the comics are concerned, it's not actually that strange. It's actually quite common that they'll do stuff like that, and it works a lot of the time.
Yeah, if they are making a musical, I just want everyone to know that I am available with my little clear Riddler glasses to sing. Because all I keep looking at is that TikTok of the lassie who thinks she looks like him with the little clear glasses singing the Ave Maria, and every time I put my clear glasses on, I'm just thinking I look like the fucking Riddler.
Has anybody photoshopped Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga in makeup over the bodies of John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John? If not, why not? Make it so.
Do you know, part of me at first was like, can Joaquin Phoenix sing? And then I totally forgot the whole Johnny Cash thing that he did. And I was like, oh yeah, he really can.
But apparently it's also knows as well, he's not actually signed up to it yet.
I thought there was a picture of him holding a
There
stick.
is. There is. Apparently contractually, he's not actually signed up. He's on board in theory, but he's not actually.
I feel like that's a Joaquin Phoenix thing to do. I feel like he's a quirky, eccentric guy who at the very last minute.
He was only offered a one and done for the film, and he'd said that during the promotion of the film. He said, yeah, it's a one-time thing. He says, if it does well, it does well. If it doesn't matter. It's just a one-off. It's not part of an extended universe or an alternative universe or anything.
In fairness, he does a lot of varied work. I can't imagine he would want to get tied into some sort of superhero franchise. He probably has quite interesting projects that he gets offered quite a lot, but yeah, as I say, I saw a picture of him holding a script, so my heart did kind of swell at the thought of it, but it may or may not happen. Who knows?
I think it will happen. I think if there's a script and he's promoting that, he's releasing his Instagram stuff, it probably will happen. Will it happen as a musical with the Gaga's Harley Quinn? Yeah, I can't help but think there's some mischief making going on here, just to mess a bit with the critics. But I
went to see Lightyear last night, which
I liked it.
Oh, did you? I didn't.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. It was enjoyable.
I thought the cat was fun. But that was about it.
Yeah. The way when it was processing, it would turn its head around and go meow, 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 meow. Yeah, aye. And there was all the To Infinity and Beyond where he touches the touch fingers,
Yeah. And
then when he tries to do it with the character's granddaughter, and she goes, "What are you doing?" She says, "It's something I used to do with your gran." And they all went, "Oh!" I thought it was pretty good. It's fairly generic, but it was still. I found it quite enjoyable.
I thought it was a bit too generic. Although I will say that they made Zurg quite scary, I thought, for a kids' film. Yeah. It's quite a scary looking. I mean, obviously, like the Zurg that you see in Toy Story is the action figure.
Yeah.
So this is obviously meant to be like a kind of movie or whatever, but I thought it was quite scary. I was like, oh, it reminded me of, do you know how that kind of goblin thing at the end of Fantasia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like head shape and stuff. I was like, oh, this is actually quite scary for kids. And yeah, there was not a lot of adults in the cinema last night, so I always feel slightly weird going to see kids' films because you're just like, it just looks so strange.
Well, fair enough. Jurassic World, it was just full of kids.
Really?
Yeah, it really, like, so much. I mean, I've never seen two groups of kids go flung out at one point.
Oh, is that 12? Enough.
12A, yeah.
Yeah.
But
for some reason, I thought it was a 15. I don't know why.
I was surprised. I've seen enough Jurassic Park films in cinema. And when the first one was out, I was really young and enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I was surprised how much it was like so many kids there.
Mm-hmm. That does seem strange. No.
It's good. It's good. I want to see it again because I do feel that I would have expected more from the last one.
Mm-hmm. Is this definitely confirmed to be the last one then?
Well, I think they'll give it a couple of years and then come out with something else. But yeah,
I think there's only so many times they can try this park opening before they realise it's a bad idea. At every point you say, guys, this is not ending well. People are getting eaten. Dinosaurs are escaping. They've now got raptors running about Malta. Come on.
Do you follow the Jurassic Park account on Twitter? I love that. It's so funny.
Have you seen it, John?
No, I've seen it.
I think it's something like Jurassic Park updates, and it's just imagine it's supposed to be like an HR account, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like updates about the park throughout the day. It's really funny.
And it is things like, if you are getting eaten, can you please stop screaming? You're upsetting the other dinosaurs and stuff like that. Like, it's just really funny. It's just daft stuff. I love stuff like that. I guess it's in another pod actually, and if I won a quiz at the end of it, I got to recommend their next film. So I recommended Frenzy, and then I listened to the pod where they were discussing it, and they obviously think I'm a psychopath. They were like, "We're not quite sure why she's recommended this. It's very disturbing. It's not even doesn't even feel like a nice Hitchcock." It's like, and then obviously they were talking about some of the lines in the film, and it's like disconcerting recommendation. So now I'm like banned from any other podcast. I still maintain it's a great film though. So I got back to work and decided I was going to change my name, and I had sent in an email to everyone explaining how to pronounce it phonetically, because I came in on day one and they were like, Mrs. Mann. That's fine, I'll send an email in. So with suitable gifts, I had like the wee chihuahua with the sombrero and the maracas, a Spanish dancer, a talking taco, all that sort of good stuff. So it's been exciting, that's for sure.
Still, you kept Chris off the flight to Rwanda, so that's the main thing, yeah.
I always remember, I can't remember if it was his birthday or Valentine's Day, and I was like, I wrote my wee thing and it was like, roses are red, our steel is imported. I know you're marrying me to avoid being deported. So yeah, he was like a kid at Christmas in Monaco. I've genuinely never. See, when you actually see, we've obviously watched Formula One on TV, but I didn't appreciate what it was like to actually hear that in real life. Like, they gave you ear defenders and stuff at various places when we were sitting, but it's like the petrol mist. Like, you get into Monaco and you can smell it straight away, because obviously it's not just Formula One. They have like Formula 2, the Porsche Rally, the e-cars, all that sort of thing. Oh, you can smell it. And I'm like, because Chris was going to light a cigarette, and I'm like, oh, can you not do that? Like, they're petrolly around here. But yeah, it was, obviously the sound was absolutely incredible. I've never heard anything like it in my puff. It was absolutely incredible. So even if my wee favourite came 13th on the day. So I wrote the Val review, because we watched Top Gun Maverick, and then I came home and realised that was on Sky, and I was like, oh my God, I absolutely have to watch that. I found that documentary kind of... that was a bit of a downer after the excitement of Top Gun. Do you know, in some places you kind of feel like, is that the whole story, Val? But in other places it is fucking heartbreaking. Like, he actually says at one point, because he's obviously doing like Comic-Cons and stuff like that, and he was like, I just feel like the lowest of the low, sitting hawking signatures for a living, and I absolutely burst.